And there you have the President of the United States speaking as the Commander-in-Chief, but also as an emotional father, and saying we have endured too many of these tragedies, specifically mentioning some of the recent mass shootings that have occurred, and even those on his hometown of Chicago, which was a very deadly summer for those in Chicago. He said that he reacted as a parent, and you saw the president choke up there for a moment as he tried to deliver his statement, and pointing out that a majority of the victims today were children between the ages of 5 and 10 years old, who he said had their entire lives ahead of them. And so he said, our hearts are broken. And then he said, we are going to have to take meaningful action. Bob Schieffer is with us. And Bob, it was interesting to hear the president allude to that something has to be done, almost answering that point that you raised earlier, is when is it going to get so bad that lawmakers, people in Washington, will address what's happened?
Well, I think, Nora, what we saw today is a Barack Obama that we haven't seen very much in public before. You know, this president during the campaign, as you know, was sometimes criticized for not showing emotion, for seeing these problems in the abstract and so on. This was someone who clearly was touched by what he saw and heard today. And when he said, this is something we're going to have to do, we're going to have to take some action. This has happened too many times. We'll see in the days ahead what that amounts to. But, you know, people don't talk about trying to get these guns out of the hands of these emotionally disturbed people. And, you know, when people talk about gun control and they talk about taking hunters' guns away and all that kind of thing, that's not the problem here. The problem here is putting these deadly weapons on a high shelf, like you would put poison in a house, rat poison or something else, putting it where people who might use it for the wrong reasons are not able to get it. And that, it's a very serious problem. It's a very complicated problem. But perhaps this will be the day that, starting with the president, Washington finally got serious about trying to do something about this. I mean, when I heard the president say, these are our children, it really kind of brings it home.
Does bring it home. Major Garrett is in the press briefing room, and Major, this was a very emotional President Obama.
Yeah, and really, Nora, there's nothing I can or should add. The American public saw exactly what the president's emotional reaction to this was. It was evident to everyone who watched the president pause, to take in the moment of that pause, and they saw him wipe a tear from his eyes. That, in all ways, encapsulates the president's emotional reaction. And when he said to the country, we've seen too many of these tragedies, and that it is time to take meaningful action, comma, regardless of the politics, he said something he has never said before in immediate reaction to events like this, which he has witnessed in his presidency. This could, I think, fairly be described both as a matter of politics and as a matter of presidential absorption, a turning point, because the president has faced these grim historical facts before. Mass shootings, victims, children, inexplicable horror, and not reacted in the way he did today, either on an emotional level or suggesting to the country that he is prepared to take action and perhaps political risks he hasn't before to confront and change the underlying dynamics that brought this tragedy and this grimly historic day to the briefing room and the rest of the country.